Welcome to the Wine Cage. I'm Dylan.
I'm Amanda.
And tonight, firstly, apologies if there's a background whirring noise. We have the aircon on and it's too hot to turn it off. Normally we turn it off, but if we turn it off tonight, we're just going to start melting into the couch as you watch. And we're not ready for that. So we're keeping the AC on. I hope it's not causing too much background noise. But tonight, we are drinking Bremerton's Tamblyn Cab Shiraz Malbec Merlot from 2021. And I have to admit, I've never drank a blend of all of these things before. Have you?
No.
So this was a first. Was not sure what to expect on this one. But before we get into the nose and the taste and our rating, we usually talk about the label first. And this one's really art focused with this little piece of art here. And if the point of art is to make you think something and feel something, I have to say this one has achieved that, because my first reaction when I saw this label was that I don't like that art. And so that was the thinking side of it, because it reminded me of 90s corporate art, the sort of artwork that you might see in the waiting room of a internet company in 1998. If you know what I mean, you can picture this behind a leather waiting couch or behind a executive's desk or something. But then I kind of flipped and it kind of reminded me of 80s abstract art. And it actually made me feel a little nostalgic for that sort of pre-internet, Wild West, New York art scene era of famous artists, overnight famous artists, and made me think of people like, not that his art's anything like this, but it made me think of people like Jean-Michel Basquiat and the great film Basquiat that you should see if you're interested in art at all. So as you can see, starting off with a piece of art that I didn't really like the look of, it got me thinking and it got me feeling a bunch of things, got me nostalgic. So that's pretty interesting. At least it was interesting for me. What do you think about the art and graphic design on this one?
Art-wise, I basically agree with you. It's sort of, it makes me think both of sort of a lot of art that you read about in art history books from the 80s and late 70s and also the early 90s. But it also isn't really my jam art-wise. Graphic design, there's not a whole lot going on. You've got the winery's logo, and then you've got just type that's arranged tastefully. There's a nice spot gloss on some of it and on some of the artwork as well. So that's kind of a nice touch. That's really all I've got to say about it.
Yeah, well, I've already rambled on quite a lot about the presentation. But so how does this one taste? Firstly, color-wise, it's that deep purple. It's got a strong magenta color to it, quite opaque, oily, not in a bad, gross, shiny, oily way, but you know what I mean? It's got that deep magenta pool look to it. The nose, what do you think about the nose?
It's very nice. It's very rich.
Yeah, I love the nose on this one. It's beautiful. It's everything. It smells kind of sweet, but also savory. It smells fresh, floral, but not in a sickly floral way. It's dry. It's dusty. It's also different to a lot of reds. It smells different. We use a lot of the same words when describing the nose on wines, like dusty, or that winery smell is one of my favorite nose notes. The old winery smell. This one almost doesn't have that. It's just different. This one makes me feel like I'm walking into an exotic shop of spices and sweets, but there's also a lagoon out the back.
You know what this one reminds me of?
What's that?
This reminds me of the time where we drove several hours to purchase some empty wine barrels from somebody to use in our garden. And when we got those in the car and we were driving back, the most delightful smell just filled the car. It was like this. It was just exotic and delicious.
Wine barrel smell. Yeah.
Wine barrel smell.
Yeah. Anyway, beautiful nose on this one. Let's see how it tastes.
My first thoughts are that it's delightful. This is really up my alley as far as red wine goes. It's very sweet, but not in a fruity, sickly way. In a sort of deeper, kind of almost like a dark chocolate cake kind of way. It's vanilla-y as well and very spicy.
That's a great description. Hits the nail on the head. This tastes lovely, and a nice thing about it is that it was a surprise as well. I wasn't expecting the taste. Perhaps because I haven't had a blend of these exact, grapes before. But yeah, it was a surprise, and it was a break from the norm. It was a break from what we've been drinking recently, and it's just lovely. It does have a bit of that aniseed, licoricey taste to it. It's not like an earthy Shiraz. It's got more fruit and power to it than that. Maybe a slightly more bite to it. It's good in the lungs too, actually. You can put it in your lungs and in your stomach. It works both ways. Yeah, I really like this. I love it. Yeah, for me, this is a solid 8.
I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, an 8 means it's really good. I think I can't remember the price on this. I think it might have been under $20. So great price. If I'm right about that, I will put it in the super. But yeah, really enjoying this one, and it would definitely be a repurchase. I would get this again, just because it's quite different to everything else as well. So yeah, that's Bremerton's Tamblyn Cab Shiraz Malbec Merlot 2021, and we highly recommend it. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next time on The Wine Cage. Cheers.